Frank, Borman, Frankman, how was the training process for you once you were selected as an astronaut to be then selected to actually fly? How tough was the process, or not?
Well, it really wasn't that difficult, but it was involved an awful lot of learning. We spent, can you hear me now? We spent an awful lot of time in different factories, and we went to academic courses and so on, but it was basically a course in immersing yourself in a new industry.
But W, how was the process for you in adapting after the flying career?
It really wasn't a very big transition. I was teaching at the test pilot school in Denver. I had gone through the Empire Test Pilot School in England. I worked for a guy by the name of Chuck Yeager, who was a rather interesting individual.
By this time, however, the simulation process had really expanded almost exponentially. We had basically systems that could fully represent the spacecraft systems. We had basically computers, a very simple computer on board the Gemini spacecraft, about a 4K machine. But basically this now provided the astronauts information as to some of the things that were happening to them once they got on orbit. I believe that the real breakthrough in training occurred during the process of simulation, because now we had an instrument that would basically complement the classroom and the learn by doing, because we all spend a lot of time in the factories working the procedures down at the Cape with range safety and all that.
The Base 6 was all set to do the first run of it. And it was Frank, no. Well, Gina, who was in the sixth lead? Lovell, Stafford, and Sean, that's right. Stafford and apologize when he's getting old. Anyway, Stafford and Sean were going to six, and seeing how we can get Gemini 6 up to 7.
You notice that Frank and Jim are sitting next to each other. They broke the record at the time for length of time in orbit, and that was Frank and Jim together in Gemini 7. And Frank, how was Fort?
I would like to know how many people in the audience would like to spend 14 days in a volume as small as the front seat of a Volkswagen Beetle with a sailor.
I know, funny.
So guys, describe what those 14 days were like. Togetherness takes on a new meaning, perhaps.
Well, as a matter of fact, we got down after 14 days, and we're on the carrier. The first thing we did, we looked at each other and we said, we just wanted to announce our engagement.
What did the frogmen say when they opened the hatch?
It was pretty smelly in there. But Jim and I didn't notice it because we'd gotten used to it. But the one thing he did mention, I do remember, Jim, that we sang one song for 14 days. Let's pretend that we're all together, all alone. Remember that Jim Reeves song? Which was sweet. I didn't know he was transgender at that point.
Found out. You know, it's kind of interesting to get two people so close together and no place to go, no way to move out. that I think either I or Frank lost the toothbrush. Didn't make any difference. We used the same toothbrush for 14 days.
So Buzz, what was that training like for you?
Well, I'm glad that, you heard me okay?
Yeah, fine.
I'm glad that Jim gave us all the preliminaries all about and we did a lot of good training. I can remember standing in the pool, waist deep, seeing Gemini 11 lift off. You remember that? Well, where were you? You were supposed to be there, weren't you? No, he was watching me, yeah. Well, anyway, for me, main missions of the whole Gemini program were long duration space flight, computer guided re-entry, rendezvous in space, and spacewalking, so that we would know how to do things out on the lunar surface.
Sometimes slept in limbs. I probably had several weeks sleeping in limbs when the test would get hauled in, and you just stopped and waited for the next things to get figured out and proceed. So that was kind of what I was doing in that period. In fact, I was up at Drummond at the time the Apollo 1 fire came, and Jim called me and said, come home.
So even though you weren't assigned a cruise at this point, and back to Gene for a moment, everybody was deeply involved in this whole engineering process, working together to make the whole program work.
Perspective, we were originally, Wally Schraub, Don Isley, and I were on Apollo 2 crew, the same spacecraft as Apollo 1. All the changes we were trying to make in it caused a lot of delays. It got canceled. Then we became the backup crew for Apollo 1. After 3 months, we had a fire on the pad and lost our prime crew. 3 weeks later, we got the first Apollo mission. And I have to tell you that the spacecraft was certainly not great, like Gene said, but in the next 21 months, we lived at the contractors. I was on the road maybe 275 days one year, I remember. But we, I think it was 1,040 changes that were made in the spacecraft, some of which were for the systems and the mechanics. But a lot of them was for the operational changes that we had wanted to do before and had been passed up because of the delay that it would cause in the schedule. So we got all those kind of things in. So when Apollo 7 actually flew, it was the most successful first test flight ever, even to this day. And I'll add one more thought here, what the public doesn't think about. That was the first of 5 giant steps to the moon, every one of which was very critical. We tested the command module. In Apollo 8, it broke the concern people might have from getting away from the Earth's gravity. They went out around the moon. Apollo 9, then they were testing the lunar module. That was done in Earth orbit here. I think that was a pretty risky mission because if they couldn't get back together, there was no heat shield on the lunar module. In Apollo 10, they had a complete rehearsal for the Apollo 11 landing right down to 50,000 feet. So when Apollo 11 went, actually everything had been done before except that last 50,000 feet. But it was one hell of a fine job, really perfect.
The last 3 flights, Apollo 18, 19, and 20, were canceled, which meant that 17 was the last mission. And Jack Schmidt was the lunar module pilot, back up on 15 and was going to be the prime on 18, but with 18 canceled. The scientific community, the geology community will push very hard to have Jack move forward and put on the last flight to the moon as a lunar module pilot. And you know, it wasn't my idea, but it sure made sense. That you have a guy with a doctorate degree in field geology going to the moon if you've got a chance to get him there. So it was, as I said, it was a disappointment, very big disappointment. But I understood the rationale behind it completely and was very proud of it. Incidentally, I don't know whether we, you know, the thing, I didn't get to go land on the moon, which I very much would like to have done, but that experience let me get close and get all the training for a lunar mission, which was totally incredible. And I think everybody on the panel would agree. The education was there, if you just wanted to soak a little bit of it, you could. There was so much to learn in so many fields, so many disciplines, that I wouldn't have traded it for anything in the world. Plus, I got to know a lot better and got to work with and train with, I don't want to get gooey now, but this incredible bunch of true American heroes that you got on the stage here tonight.
So Al, 15. What were the new things that happened in 15? We talked early on from, you know, the Mercury to Gemini and so forth. What had happened before allow you to do on 15?
Okay, what 15 was a new model of spacecraft. We were upgraded. We carried a lot of extra equipment that had never been carried before, as you know. We carried the first lunar rover, the little electric car that they drove on the surface. That gave them quite an extended capability on the lunar surface. And we carried a scientific instrument package into lunar orbit. In that, we had, kind of interesting, we had two large cameras. The large camera, which is a high-resolution camera, was one that had been developed back in the 1950s by a company in Boston called Icon. And it was a ball-optic camera, but it was a camera that was designed to be flown in U-2 aircraft. And then I had a series of, I think 6 or 7, I forget now the exact number, but of remote sensors that were all on arms that I could extend, like the cannon arm kind of thing. And we had like microwave, we had X-ray, we had alpha particle, we had mass